hope we're all well. So I put a recommendations box on my Instagram story just to ask you guys like which sort of videos you'd like to see, and this was up there. This was one of the most highly requested videos. I've had so many questions asking about my teeth, where I have them done, what I had done, did it hurt? I thought, let's do a video. So I started my teeth journey in June last year, and I literally finished in March. So I started in June 2021 and finished March 2022. So I thought I would explain exactly step by step what it was I had done, and then at the end I would answer all of your questions that you were asking me. First of all, I really researched it and found a company called Rue Dental, which have been amazing. The fear of the dentist and that negative kind of vibe you get, like being scared of going to the dentist, completely went away when I walked in their clinic. They are so welcoming, so knowledgeable, so friendly. It was just such a nice experience. I could have gone there every day. Like, they were really nice. You just feel so welcomed, and it's just a nice place to be in. I thought I'd never say that about the dentist, but they really are. I've been wanting my teeth done since I was like 14 years old. It sounds ridiculous, I know. For years and years I've been researching and researching exactly what I wanted to have done. So went to Rue Dental. I will pop their Instagram handle here so you can check them out, but they've got a Manchester clinic, two London clinics. One is Fleet Street in London and one is Notting Hill Gate in London. So I got referred to Notting Hill Gate first of all, and I literally went in for my consultation. I was so nervous. I had driven 2.5 hours. I've been waiting my whole life for this moment. So walked in there, had my consultation. I got recommended exactly what I'd researched and what I guessed I was kind of having. So first of all, I had Invisalign. So Invisalign are plastic guards you put over your teeth. It's like a retainer, and they obviously like move your teeth for you. So don't get me wrong, it can be very pricey, but I wanted something where you couldn't see them. It's in the name, invisible Invisalign. Because I dance on stage, I thought I would feel really insecure if I had metal braces in my mouth for so long. So I thought Invisalign was the better option for me and how I felt. So I did only have the Invisalign Light option, which was slightly cheaper. I think it's because it's slightly like shorter, you don't need as many retainers. My teeth weren't wonky, they were actually quite straight. Don't get me wrong, like I had a few like poking out in the wrong direction, but I will show you a picture of my before photo just here now. So as you can see, my two front teeth were a lot bigger than the rest of my teeth, and that was my biggest insecurity. I always got called a rabbit at school. I didn't like it. Obviously it made me really upset. So when I was younger, I said to my mum, please can I have a brace? Like, everyone was getting a brace at school. Like, I wanted a brace like everybody else, and because I wasn't happy with my teeth anyway, win-win. We went to the dentist and we had them all measured for a brace, and my dentist actually told my mum that my teeth were, I think they were only 1 or 2 millimeters out of getting them on the NHS. So she basically said to my mum that if I wanted to have braces, my mum would have to pay, which wasn't cheap. So my mum obviously couldn't afford it at the time, and she said to me, Tamara, if you still feel like the same in 10 years time, then go for it. So here I am. So I had my Invisalign molds kind of taken. It's not like a normal mold that you would get at the dentist. It was actually like an electronic thing they put in your mouth. It's almost like a photograph of your teeth, and you could see it on the screen. So you could see exactly what your teeth looked like, and I was so impressed. So my dentist, Dr. Riz, did say to me to obviously go home. I would get my clinic check, which is basically a 360 like computer of your teeth. Like, you can see every angle from every direction, and it shows you like what it will look like before, and then the weeks with the guards, like what they'd look like each week to the finishing result. So I knew already that I wanted this without it being sent to me. So there and then on the day, before I'd even seen the results, I paid. I was like, I'm in. Like, I know this is going to be worth it. I started my Invisalign journey, went back home, and then obviously your trays have to be made for you. They're personalised to you. And I had to go back to London, and then you have attachments put on your teeth just to obviously help with the resistance in moving them. Once my attachments were on, then obviously the guards went in your mouth, and I was advised to change my guards every week. Some people were every 2 weeks, but because I was with Invisalign Light, it was a little bit quicker. These are in no particular order, but I thought I would save them just to show you. So what happens is you get a load of Invisaligns, and I haven't got them in there because obviously I've finished my treatment now, and I binged them because they can go a bit minging after a few weeks. I did get rid of my first few, so you can see like this is 3 of 10, week 4 of 10, week 5 to 10, and so on. I think for my first set I did 12 weeks. I did do something pretty minging, and I have actually kept, where are they? Ah, here. I have kept my very first set of Invisalign. So that's my week 1 of 14. Ah, so sorry, I had it for 14 weeks, not 12. And yeah, and I started my journey on the 15th of July, and that was in 2021. I keep these because I like to see like what my teeth looked like before. I know there's photos, but to physically see a guard of your teeth, like, I can't believe how different they actually are now. So you change your guards every single week, and then once you finished your 14 weeks, I went back to Rue Dental just to obviously check everything was good and if my attachments were ready to come off or not, and then I could go on to my next step, what I was recommended, which I will get onto next. So I went back, and I hadn't finished the journey of Invisalign, which I was actually really gutted about, but at the same time, Dr. Riz had kind of said to me, well, you've got this far, you might as well carry on, and he's completely right. So I got given another 12 trays of Invisalign just because my overbite was so far forward, just to have it brought back a little bit, because then obviously you'd get a better result later on when I had the next step, which was composite bonding. After my next set of Invisalign, I had my attachments off. My teeth were actually more yellow after my Invisalign, which is completely normal because with the attachments they stain. So I then went and had a consultation after my Invisalign to have composite bonding done. It's basically an extension to your natural teeth. So it's different to veneers. With veneers, your own teeth get shaven down into like those shark tooth, which, don't get me wrong, the results are absolutely beautiful after, but I didn't want to damage my own teeth. I still wanted my own teeth there. It kind of scares me having to shave them. Like, I always think, what if one came off and you just got this little like stump? So I chose to go for composite bonding, which is basically a extension to your teeth just to make them all line in a level, and obviously because my 2 front teeth were longer than my teeth next to them, so the teeth beside them obviously needed to bring down. I got quoted to only have 4 composite bonding on my teeth, and I kept looking in the mirror, and I'm an RN, and I thought my vampire teeth were quite pointy, and I thought if the others are completely squared off, I'm gonna have these points, which is very natural looking, but I did want them kind of squared, rounded, you get the drill. So I did ask to also have those ones done. So I had 6 composite bonding. So before composite bonding, I had to get my teeth whitened because obviously they weren't very yellow. And the whitening took 2 weeks. So I wasn't allowed tea or coffee. I lost my personality completely. I wasn't allowed beetroot, you know, a glass of wine, anything that could stain your teeth. But I thought, you know what? It's only 2 weeks of my life. I can sacrifice it. So once my whitening was done, which was definitely probably one of the toughest times of my life without tea and coffee, but we got through it, I went and had my composite bonding done, and I had my composite bonding done with the same company, Rue Dental, but I went with Dr. Pete, who was so lovely and completely looked after me. When I went for my consultation to have my composite bonding, they also suggested to me to have gum contouring, which I was like, what's that? That sounds scary. They said basically we remove some of your gum. So you what? We remove some of your gum. I was like, ooh, like that sounds painful. I was like, how? They were like, we like laser it away, and I was like, oh, that really got me nervous. The thought of it, I don't know why, it just made me like squeal inside. I thought, you know what? Got this far, just brave it and do it, Tamara. So I did. They recommended it on my front tooth and the tooth just next to it. They literally just remove it so it was in line with my other gums on the other side. This tooth here, the gum was slightly higher than this one. It almost looked like I had a bucked tooth, so they basically removed it so to level it out. I had anaesthetic for that and it didn't hurt at all. Like, it was completely painless. I was so nervous about it. The nurse was so lovely next to me. She was like, I promise you're not going to feel a thing. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I am. Like, my gum's being taken out of my mouth. Dr. Pete was literally like, oh, it's done. And I was like, what? I thought they just put the anaesthetic in. They were like, no, we've already done that, and your gum touring's done. And I was like, wow. Like, I don't know why I was so nervous. Like, the 2-hour drive to London that day, I was literally like sweating. I was more nervous than I was for my driving test. Then it was time for the composite bonding, and I was in the chair for 3 hours, which sounds quite a long time, but actually the seat was very comfy. You got a nice TV on the ceiling, and it was completely pain-free. No pain at all. I was expecting a little bit of discomfort somewhere. Nothing hurt. The whole journey was so easy, so pain-free. Don't get me wrong, Invisalign was painful. Like, I won't lie to you. When I had my attachments on for the first weekend, when I can remember having them on, and I had shows that weekend, and I can remember like my teeth were really bleeding. I was like, oh, but obviously they were moving for the first time, and they'd had these attachments on them, and my teeth had never had anything on them before. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, if this is how it's going to be for the whole journey, I don't know if I can do this. But it was literally for a weekend, and then by that weekend, the pain had gone by like the Monday, Tuesday, and it was time to change my guards again on the Thursday. So I changed my guards every Thursday, and then I put my new set of guards in. Again, it would hurt for the first few days, and then the pain would completely go. So it's literally just your teeth moving, but each week the ache got duller and duller. I'd say the most painful was that first weekend, that first hit, because your teeth are obviously like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, what are these things on my teeth? Why are you moving? But it was so worth it. I am so happy, so pleased with them. I wanted a very natural smile. I didn't want people to be like, you've had your teeth done. I wanted people to be like, your teeth look really nice. And that's exactly the response I've had. I'm filming this in May, and my journey actually finished in March. And even to today, like, I'm still getting people come up to me saying, oh, wow, your teeth. And I'm like, thank you. To have such an insecurity when you were so young, you know, like people calling you a rabbit and horse, it really got to you, especially because I performed on stage. I'd never wanted to smile with my teeth. My dance teacher always said, use your teeth, and I used to be like, but that was my version of smiling. But now I am like, all teeth. And not because I'm like, look at me, I've had my teeth done. It's literally just because I feel like I can just smile and be happy now. When I'm on stage now, I don't actually think, oh, smiling with my teeth. I just smile, like, because I don't have that horrible insecurity about me. And it is crazy how much something that bothered you for so long and it gets changed completely makes you such a happier person. So I popped on Instagram questions like just regarding my teeth. Lots of you had messaged me, like, because when I was in London I'd always tag myself there and pop it on my story, loads of you were asking me like, what are you doing there? What have you haven't done? You were so interested. I've never had such an interest about anything in my life as much as I have about my teeth. So that's exactly why I'm doing this video. I thought I would answer all your questions for you. So one of the questions I got asked was, did it hurt? No, it doesn't hurt at all. It's completely pain-free, obviously, except for the, like I said, the first weekend was very unexpected, and then after that it is completely pain-free. Next question I got asked was, why did you want them done? I feel like I've already answered this question. When I was younger, I used to get called names about my front teeth. I was very insecure, and I always found that obviously with my job and stuff, smiling was a massive part, and that was probably the main reason I had it done, just to make me feel better. I'm rambling, I've already said all this. Did it feel weird eating after having them done? But I don't know if you mean after the Invisalign or after the composite bonding. So eating with Invisalign, you actually have to have the Invisalign in for 22 hours a day, which is crazy, isn't it? So you can actually only have it out for 2 hours. So I would take my Invisalign out just to eat, brush my teeth, and put them straight back in. It would be a bit of a pain sometimes going to a restaurant, because you'd have to secretly like take your guards out, eat your food, pop to the public toilet, brush your teeth, put your guards back in. So that was the only thing, but you did get given a tray that you could put your guards in, like when you were out and about and things. But did it feel weird? No. I mean, after the first few days of a new tray, they'd just feel a little bit sensitive, like slightly, I want to say wobbly, but obviously they're not wobbly, they were moving, weren't they? So they just felt like a little bit achy sometimes. But the first few days I'd always try and eat softer foods like soup, pasta. I wouldn't really go in straight for a steak. So with the composite bonding, I thought, oh my god, I'm not gonna be able to bite into things. It's gonna really hurt. It's gonna feel weird, isn't it? Because it's a completely different level to what your teeth are normally used to. As soon as I left, I went straight to M&S at London Liverpool Street, got myself a nice soft sandwich, and I bit straight into it. Didn't even think about it. Like, I was just hungry, so I thought I'm just gonna eat. And then I ate the sandwich, and I was like, I've eaten. Like, that didn't feel weird at all. It's your teeth, so it doesn't, it's just normal. It didn't feel like anything, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. So the next question I got asked was, do I regret it? Definitely 100% do not regret it. It's definitely one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. It was a big life goal of mine, and I am just so grateful that I was able to achieve it, and I'm really happy with the results. I don't regret it at all. The only thing I probably do regret is not having it done sooner. Okay, this one is a very interesting question. Can you still do fire breathing and eating with them? So I've not really spoke about this on my channel, but I sometimes do a bit of fire breathing and eating. It's not an everyday thing. I am trained to do it, so please don't go and try and fire breathing. I can do fire breathing and eating still. Obviously, putting flammable liquids in your mouth can stain the composite bonding, so I try not to, and I'd rather not. I haven't actually done any fire breathing since I've had them done, because I don't want to stain them. Like, I've paid a lot of money for them and I don't want to ruin it, so I feel like my fire breathing is done. Fire eating, however, that's completely fine. You know, you don't put any liquid in your mouth as such. It's literally the wick touching your mouth, and it just touches your tongue. I did ask Dr. P when I was having my composite bonding done if it would affect my composite bonding, and he said no, as long as you don't pop the wick on your teeth. So the answer to that question is yes, I can still do fire breathing and eating. I just choose not to do the breathing. So I've only got 2 questions left to answer. Okay, so one of them was, how long did it take to transform your teeth? It took 10 months in total. So my consultation was in June, my Invisalign started in July. I then went for my next Invisalign set in the November. And then obviously my whitening was in February, and then March was my composite bonding, and then the day I had my composite bonding, it was obviously finished. So it took 10 months in total, which sounds like a long time. It goes so quick. Like, I can remember when I first had them done and I was with the girls in the dressing room at work, and I was like, oh my God, I've got ages until I have them off. Like, and then I didn't obviously realise I was going to have another set of trays. Went for my next set of trays. The girls were like, oh my God, like you've nearly finished. And I was like, I know, like, it does go so quick. Okay, last question. It's a bit of a weird one. Are you completely happy with them? Is there anything you would change? So, I wouldn't change anything about them. Like, they are exactly what I wanted. I wanted natural looking, I wanted my own teeth, I wanted them in straight, in line, and that's exactly what I got. When I first had them done, I was a bit like, ooh. Because when you first look in the mirror, obviously at the dentist you just get given a little mirror. So I looked at them and I was like, they're lovely, like they're perfect. Then when you get home and you look in the big mirror and you kind of see your whole face, you realise it completely kind of changes your entire face. So it wasn't that I didn't like them, it was just weird looking at yourself in a mirror looking a little bit different. Because obviously for so many years you used to looking at yourself how you look. And when that changes, when one little thing changes, it's like it changes everything. But yeah, I was happy with them. It was just weird getting used to them, I guess. I've tried to cover as much as I could and answer the majority of you guys' questions. If there is any other questions you've got, head it down into the comments below and I will be sure to answer them. But I think I've covered everything. I'm probably going to look at this back and be like, well, you missed all that out. But yes, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and as always, if you could give a bing thumbs up, if you could give a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.